you have been a Disney fan for as long as I've known you, a huge one. And you, to the point of like, you went to Disney and you've taken like private behind the scenes tours that at least most people have no access to.
I've been in his vault. They let me, I went through his calendars for a year because I was looking for an answer on an influence of him. And I went through his diary for the year, couldn't find the answer. Went through his date book to see who is he meeting with that year. Yeah, I mean, it's been fun.
And you've been in the room where they count the money, right? Like you.
Yeah, used to. They don't count money anymore. Now it's just all digitized. But yeah, it was quite cool to go underground Disney and to see the computing systems and all the mechanics. And there's one two-way road underneath Disney. And it's the old counting room, and those were for the Brinks trucks and police cars in case they needed them. But I saw it, and there was really nothing left but the bars on the windows in this gigantic room. It must have been, I can't remember how much they said they used to process, and the truck would come several hours, like several trips, every couple of hours to take the money out. Crazy.
So, be honest. Did you steal anything while you were down there?
No, I didn't. I wish I actually offered to. They had these old computers, and they were just sitting, in this hallway under Space Mountain, and they were the original WED Industry computers for their animatronics. And I'm like, "What are you going to do with that?" And they're like, "I don't know. It's just junk." And I'm like, could I buy one of your pieces of junk?
Right.
Because it was so cool. But,
oh yeah, but they wouldn't let you.
No.
You didn't like rattle it with your giant pockets, and you had like a computer.
No, I didn't. I was tempted.
You're tempted. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the person though to ask about this controversy that's risen out of the Disney woke stuff with Ron DeSantis. DeSantis comes out, he says, look, a California company is not going to run our state. That's not how this works. You don't get to tell us what laws we're going to overturn. And if you think that's your role, maybe we'll revisit this special governance perk that you have.
He should.
First of all, that's a big part of this, whether that should happen or not. But second of all, what the hell is it? I don't think anyone knows. If you're not in those worlds, you don't know what it is.
Disney was negotiating with two states, and Missouri thought they were going to get it, but Missouri pissed him off because he was going to build it in St. Louis.
Because they had Disneyland already, but they were going to do Disney World.
Yes, and so everyone knew, everybody passed on Disneyland. He couldn't get a bank to do it. When he said, I'm going to make another one, and it's going to be bigger, oh my gosh, everybody was like, up here, New York, New Jersey, everybody. But he wanted it year-round. He considered St. Louis, but I can't remember the mayor or somebody said, no, it has to, brewing is part, St. Louis, Missouri, has to be part of it. You have to have beer. And he said, no. And they kind of went back and forth on that. And that was really kind of the end.
Really? Because they didn't hold that one.
No, they didn't. But that's just recently changed. That's been within the last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought they had like Paradise Island back in the day, and that
off property.
Oh.
Off property. I mean, it was on property, but it was completely separate
from the park. That's
from
true.
Everything else.
Yeah, it was like this escape.
Right. Yeah. So they didn't in the Magic Kingdom. Never. And it was a big deal to people like me when they said, booze. So anyway, he had all kinds of negotiating power. Because the states knew whichever one he picked, he said to them, I will make you the #1 destination for the world. Well, what state didn't want that? Okay. And it came down to Missouri and Florida. But he wasn't building Magic Kingdom. At first, he didn't want to build the park like Disney. He didn't want to do any of that. It wasn't just an expanded Magic Kingdom. He was really wanting to build something that would change the world. He wanted to build Epcot, which is nothing like what it is now. I wish I would have known we would talk about this. I would have brought the book that he carried in his pocket the last year of his life as he's designing Epcot. Had it in his pocket the whole time, and it's It's called the Garden Cities of Tomorrow. He was doing something entirely different. He stole the idea from that book, 1897, I think. It was the first book on central planning. And but he wanted to change power. He wanted complete control of everything, because he was going to GM and say, let's redesign cars. Let's just make a fleet of cars. And so he would pick who lived in Epcot and who worked in Epcot. And he would do one experience. Then he was going to make another city that was connected, but another city that was just industry, just, whatever this industry was.
Like a mini federalism almost.
Correct.
Yeah.
And but he needed absolute control. So Disney is really, I mean, technically it is, but it is as close as you can get to not being a part of Florida.
So yeah, they get, it's called Reedy Creek, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Reedy Creek.
And they basically get to govern themselves. All the stuff that
Right.
the town normally would do for you, they do for themselves.
Yeah. So
Garbage pickup.
Yeah, garbage pickup. I think water. They have a right to a nuclear power plant, or used to. I don't know if they still do, but they had a right to
build.
We want to build a nuclear power plant. Well, don't ask them. Don't ask Florida. They don't have a say in it. Okay, let's build one.
Wow.
They don't have to worry about building codes because they have their own special building codes. And this was really only given to a company that was really a responsible partner for society. You would never give that to a company that was greedy alone because, they'll cut corners or whatever. So they had all of this power, and it was good for Florida, and it was good for Disney. But now that they are pumping poison in, I don't think that's necessarily good for the state of Florida. And it's also, think about this, 1965, they get their freedom from any state, okay? Do you think if that happened to your family, your mom and dad in 1965, and you were raised under that, and you built your entire business off of that, do you think you might become arrogant? Do you think you see yourself as, well, I'm not part of the little people. I don't have to do those things. And the little people, they don't understand. That's what happened to Disney.
And you point out they only got this right because they were such good stewards and good citizens.
Correct.
So
under Walt Disney.
Under Walt Disney.
Right.
Now they're not, right? So is
I think
DeSantis
they're
right?
still good citizens. I mean, they're not poisoning the land and
Right, arguably they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you come from a conservative perspective, they've changed the goal of their company, as they said themselves, is no longer. It's not about entertaining children. It's about overturning the Don't Say
Correct.
Gay bill.
So they are not good citizens culturally
Yeah.
anymore. But they still build great roads,
Right.
great bridges.
Yes.
I mean, it's a reason most people don't notice it. When you come off that exit of the highway, as soon as you get off that exit, the roads change. That's because those are owned and maintained by Disney.
And also, we should, as a side note, the constant attack on libertarians. Oh, what about the roads? I think private
Best
roads
best
show
roads.
some.
I mean, the
real
infrastructure
promise.
of Disney is brilliant.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
So, is DeSantis doing the right thing, threatening to go after this status? Should he actually go after it?
I don't think he should threaten. I don't like threats. I like promises. That's how it started. Walt said, I'll make you the #1 destination. Do you think Walt Disney World is going anywhere?
No.
No.
Yeah,
So the state has all the advantage where Walt had all the advantage before. And I would just say, you keep your nose out of politics here. You are not, and if you want that, that's fine.
Get the same deal everybody else
You
gets.
and everybody that works for you gets the same deal as you're under a special, deal here. You want to get involved? Great. I'm giving you the same status as every other business.
That's wild. It really
And that will change. That shouldn't be a threat. That should be a promise. That should be a promise.
And would it really, at this point, affect them that much?
Oh my gosh, yes. Do you know they continually build things? Can you imagine if the state, you didn't have a good relationship with the state, and the state said, yeah, we need our building inspectors to come in?
Might be 6 months. Right?
We need the state,
like everyone else has to deal with.
We need the state food inspectors to come in. You start tying that corporation up with, and they've never had that, their eyes will bleed within a week.
I was at a Disney resort and they had dogs and mice serving the food at the restaurants. Giant walking.
That's how bad
it's getting.
So bad.
This is why you need a strong government.
You've got a rat problem here.
They're walking all over the place.
If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to our channel so you'll be sure to see similar videos from Blaze TV with the added bonus of signaling YouTube that your voice and opinion still matters. And if you're looking for more great conservative content, check out one of the 2 videos suggested here.